Hello everyone, True Zero Emissions here. Okay, I'm going to compare this Wolf King GT Pro is the first one that was sold. This is when they first came out, okay? Wolf King GT Pro. When the Pro model came out, this was one of the first ones that were sold, right here. Now I also bought one recently. It's a Wolf King GT Pro that was just purchased in the past month. I'm going to compare those two scooters. Here's what I've noticed. On the display, okay, where do I start? Let's start with the display. I don't want to forget the suspension though, that's very important. Okay, on the display, we have an option here to change the bottom of this, to change the bottom part here, this part. So watch that change. Excuse me while I step away to close the door. We have a little bit of noise outside. Apologies for that. Okay, so here we have current for the front and rear motor, okay? We also have the temperature in Celsius. And we have status, and we have errors. That tells if there's an error, okay. So, looking at the current, okay, on this one, it's always at 0 when the scooter's stopped. So when I ride it and stop, it always goes to 0. On the new one, I noticed one of the motors will have, it's a very low number. It's like 0.7, 0.5, 0.9. It's showing a number there when the scooter's not moving on the new one. So it's just like, you know, to me, I'm just noticing it's drawing some power, right? But I'm not accelerating. That's on the one I just bought recently. This one's, this is my favorite one, the first one. Okay, now is that all the scooters? Are all the new ones like this? Are all the ones being sold right now like my, you know, similar to the experience I'm having now with the new one? Excuse me. So I'm going to compare something else, suspension. So I mentioned, for those of you that watched my other video, the suspension on the one I just purchased, it's the black and red one. This is I call this the golden one. It's the one I just purchased recently. The suspension, when it fully extends down, when I go over a sharp bump really fast, when the suspension drops, not bottoms out, right? Not this, not when it hits here. It's not doing that. It usually goes about halfway. I've never bottomed out the suspension on this ever. Because you can tell by the lines. It'll leave little lines where it stops, right? It'll leave a line there. So it's usually about halfway at the most. So it's not even coming close to bottoming out. It's called bottoming out where it hits, right? It's not doing that. What it's doing though is when it goes in, right? The suspension goes in very smoothly. And then when it comes out, on the newest one, on this one, it's totally smooth, okay? When I hit the bumps, when I traverse the bumps, it's completely smooth. Hitting the bump, after hitting the bump, on the new one that I just bought, after I hit the bump and this drops down, it's hitting. Something in here feels like it's hitting really hard. It feels like a hammer's slamming into the scooter when I'm going over the bump. Now it's still smooth when it absorbs the bump, right? That part's still completely smooth, but it's when these springs push the wheel back down. So whatever's in here that stops this from just falling out, right? There's something in here that stops this from continuing to go down, right? Wherever that stops, it feels like there's a bushing or something wrong or missing or broken or something on the new one that I just bought. They're looking at it now. I made videos that compare. I compared this scooter and I compared so this one's the one that was purchased when they just came out. I think that was approximately a year ago or over a year ago for the Wolf King GT Pro. And then I compared the video on the same bump. I set the camera down and I was videoing the bump as I traversed the bump at a fixed speed and consistently in the same exact spot. I made a video of this one and of the one I just purchased. And on the one I just purchased, you can hear it hit real hard. And it even makes the disc rotor kind of go ding, ding. And the people that I was showing the video to, they were saying, well, that's just the rotor. I was like, no, the rotor's not the issue. I said, the sound of the rotor is not what I'm concerned about. That's a side effect, if I call it that, of the extreme vibration of this dropping real hard when it hits. So that's something that could be tested. If you have one of these, you could test that yourself. I don't have a schematic of what's inside here. I would like to see what's in there and what belongs in there and everything, but I certainly don't want to take all that apart. If I have to, I will, like on this one, but this one's working very well. and so it's not needed. It's the new one that's having the trouble. It's the one that's just was purchased in the past 30 days. And I noticed it right away, and it just got worse and worse. So I don't know what that is. But I'll give you an update. Whatever the outcome is, I'll let you guys know what that is. But I will say that this first one was amazing. But both scooters are absolutely amazing. I noticed on the current draw, if we go back to that, because I noticed details. That's what I like. I noticed on this one, both of the current, on the current, it's very similar. So the front might be a little bit more. So if it's like, if this is 5 amps, the front will either be 5 amps or it might be 4 amps. All the settings are the same on this. I haven't modified anything. So I run this, I always run it on speed, on power level 5, and I run it on dual motor. It's already on dual motor. Okay, so that's the settings I use it. That maxes everything out, so it maxes out the power. But with that said, when I say it maxes out the power, I noticed I can go into the settings, the advanced settings, and I can go up in power. Let's do that now. So I'm going to turn off the scooter. Let's see if we can do that now. So I noticed there's more power available, and that's on this scooter. I don't know if the newest one can do that as well, but I imagine that it could. Let's see if I can do this. See where it says rear. Okay, so what's this saying? What is this saying here? This is saying that's front motor current, rear motor current. See, it says 50 amps. Okay, let's open that up. 50 amps, right? Can I increase it? Yes, I can. I can go to 60. I'm not going to do that because as it is, the scooter already goes. It already goes over 60 miles per hour, and it gets there so fast. I have no reason to need any more power than that. So this is front and rear motor. See, I could do it on the other motor as well. It can go up to 60. I just love that. Now, I haven't done it, like I said, I haven't done it. Now, I think to access these, you have to have, in my experience, I could be wrong, but the way I recall this to work is, okay, now to get it to save the settings, I was told you have to exit everything. So always go to the exit, right? Exit, exit, exit. This is what I was told, and when I'm told something and it works, I do it. So, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. My apologies. Yeah, so it's super fast at 50 amps. I heard there's like you can double tap the trigger on the GTR. I have no interest in the double tap. I don't know what that is. To me, I don't want to have to let go and then hit it again to get a boost. Maybe I'll get used to that because I'm interested in getting the GTR. And I think one day I will get that or whatever comes after that. I'm interested in the Wolf King line. Whatever their best scooter is, I'm interested in it. I want to see bigger battery. I want to see twice the capacity. I want to see higher voltage. I want to see over 100 volts or close to 100 volts. We're at 84 volts right now, fully charged. That's called a 72 volt nominal system. I say great job. This scooter is amazing. To me, it's like the best or among the best. It's certainly one of the most stable scooters that are on the market from what my research and study indicate that. I haven't ridden all scooters myself, but I've ridden a few different scooters, and this scooter is so stable. So when you're going 60 miles an hour, I'm not recommending ever doing that. But if you like to go fast sometimes, it just feels stable. It doesn't feel like it wants to fall over. It's amazing. So the suspension is really good on this. And I guess from what I hear, they're improving that on the GTR, the next model. Voro Motors, I'm going to give you a little bit of inside information now. And my understanding is that I am allowed to share this with you because this is public information. I just didn't find it anywhere. But I learned that that Voro Motors in Panorama City got 30 of the Wolf King GTRs in, and 14 of those have already been spoken for. Those have already been pre-ordered, paid for in full, and as soon as they drop the gate, like a race, right? As soon as that gate drops, as soon as those are ready to get shipped out, those 14 scooters are getting shipped to the people that prepaid those, and then there's so if there's 30 total, that means there's approximately 16, I guess it would be 16 scooters remaining, and that was as of today at I would say around 5 p.m. that I learned that. Right, Voro Motors closes at 6 p.m. every single day, 7 days a week. So if you want to get the GTR, they have 16 more that can be pre-ordered. And a pre-order is paying in full, is my understanding, and then you can have that scooter delivered to you as soon as they start shipping them. So anyway, back to this scooter. I really was happy to see that there's more power available, even though I don't need it. With the power I have and the range I have, I'm happy with it. I always want more range, and I see so much space under here. I just see a second battery there. 35 amp hour battery, imagine a 70 amp hour battery. I would love that as an option. Higher voltage because more efficient, faster, better response, right? Better response. Now I know a lot of people don't like the thumb throttle, right? They don't like it. Okay, I have a habit I'm implementing right now. I'm going to turn the speed down when I'm not using the scooter, right? I turn it down. When I go indoors, I immediately turn that down because I've had this thing try to jump out of my hands, and luckily I was able to hold on to it. But because right now I'm going to push the throttle. So there's a lot of people that don't like this thumb throttle. There's a different kind of thumb throttle as well. That's called an up-down thumb throttle. And I have some here. I don't know if I can easily find them at the moment because they're put away. But it's called an up-down. Some people call it an up-down thumb throttle. Let's see if I can find one here. Yeah, I bought a lot of these from AliExpress because why not? They're really good price, and this is my favorite kind of throttle. I don't know what it would take to be able to use this throttle on this scooter, but see how it just goes up and down? It goes straight up and down like that. I like this throttle a lot. That's the kind I like a lot, very much. But I also, this one works, and there's a way to use this one, and so let me turn the scooter off. This is very good habit here. It's power down, power to lowest settings, and then also turning it off. So this throttle here, I've learned the way to use this. I don't put my thumb here. I don't do that. Okay? When I first started using this, I was doing this. I watched some videos, and I learned by the people that, race, professional racers that race motorcycles, and they're into racing, and they know a lot about engineering. They said when they ride, they go like this. They just roll it over like that. And that's what I do. This is much more comfortable now. If someone's doing this, I can see why they would just probably really not like this at all. Because look what my hand's doing, right? Look at this. It feels very unnatural. But here, you can hold on and just kind of roll it. So I'm kind of like rolling it over. You see what I'm doing? They gave this a name. I forgot the word they used. But this is the way I ride the scooter. That's why I have it up. I have it tilted up because I just kind of roll. I just kind of put, and I just keep my finger wherever I want the throttle to be. I just leave it there. I just put it where I want it and hold it there, see? And I ride the scooter like that. If I can switch to this kind of throttle someday, I may switch over. I'm also interested in using the twist throttle, where I think I don't know if it's the whole hand twist or just this part here, like a couple inches, twist that part. I might try both. But for now, I'm completely happy with this one. I know for certain that I cannot use the trigger. It just doesn't seem... I'm really having trouble understanding how people like that trigger throttle. Because if you just look at the arm, right? The arm is at this angle like this, right? Let's say the arm's at a 45, right? A 45-degree angle, right? Okay, because that's how I ride. I ride, like motorcycle, right? We're holding on to the grip, right? My arm's like this, right? So I'm holding on here real tight, right? I'm holding on, and if I have a trigger, and a lot of people put them up here, right? my hand does not want to go like that, I mean, I can go like this. I can put my arm down, right? I can put my arm down like this, and then put my finger up here. I just don't know how people do that, and they're comfortable with it. That can be lowered down, but again, you have the brake that you're pulling as a trigger, kind of, right? It's a trigger. And then you have the trigger for the accelerator. To me, that's the most unnatural thing, and somehow some people like that, and I'm happy for them. You just got to know what you like. I'm not able to ride that way. I can ride for very short time periods, like maybe a few minutes. When I first started riding, before I knew anything about anything, I always used the trigger, but I noticed that my hand was like cramping. I would get cramps in it, holding it back like this. And then I started to get a lot of pain in my hand, and my finger would hurt really bad, my wrist would hurt really bad. And I'm just like, but I'm riding like hundreds of miles. My only guess was people that like the trigger, I don't know if they ride a lot. I don't know if they ride, like hundreds of miles a week or thousands of miles a month. If you're just riding, a few miles here and there, maybe that's it. I don't know. But you know what? I would say whoever likes the trigger, great. Whoever likes the thumb, great. I just like options. So, I just want to say this scooter I'm really glad that my friend Cameron introduced me to the Wolf King, because I just thought about the things he said about it. My friend Cameron, I'll tell you that when you look at the Segway GT1 and GT2, that is such high quality engineering. The parts are so high quality, okay? And you look at the Dualtrons, you look at the Dualtron scooters. The quality is so amazing, like everything in the quality. And my friend Cameron, he loves the Wolf King GT, right? He loves the Wolf King GT Pro and those scooters. He loves these as his favorite, but he tells me that the way the parts are made, the quality of the parts, he's not happy with it. Now me, I have no problem with the quality of the parts. If it's not falling apart on me, I'm happy. This scooter's not falling apart. It goes 60 miles per hour. I wouldn't ride it if I felt like it was falling apart. But at the same time, I understand what Cameron's saying. And maybe we can make a video on that, because he can explain it much better than me. And, he's just talking about the way the molds and things. Like, he's actually talking about the way the parts are made. If you compare this to the Segway and the way the parts are made, and you compare it to, the Dualtron scooters, if you compare the way the parts are made, Cameron's really good at understanding all that. Me, I'm just like, I want to know how I feel when I ride it. I feel safe when I ride this. I feel secure. At any speed, I feel stable. I don't feel like it's going to fall over. I don't want to feel that way. People fall over on scooters and die at low speed. It's happened. Parents have ridden these. They fall over and they die. They hit their head, right? It's so easy to fall. I never feel like I want to fall, like this thing wants to fall. Strangely, one of the scooters that people love a lot, which is it's the Nami Burn E Viper. That scooter, people just were like, oh, it's the greatest engineering. The parts are made so good. And it is. I can see it. I can see the quality, especially the stem. But when I ride that scooter, it feels to me like it wants to turn. It feels like it wants to fall. It feels like it wants to, I just don't feel comfortable riding it. It's smooth, if that makes sense. It can be smooth over bumps. It's very smooth. I mean, the suspension is unbelievable. And I heard of someone putting this front end on a Nami Viper. So I didn't see it. I heard the story, and they said they liked it because they wanted the front suspension handling on their Nami Viper. That's an interesting idea. I'm not there where I'm mixing scooter parts yet, and I don't know if I will do that. I mean, I am interested in designing my own scooter, and I am interested in designing micromobility. So I'm working on we'll call it a thought experiment, where I'm developing that in my imagination, if we say it that way, and I share this idea with people. So that is a collaboration that's being developed. I don't know if that will turn into something being produced at some point, but I enjoy thinking about it, right? I enjoy thinking about the way the scooters are made. What do I like in a scooter? Things like that. So anyway, everyone, I lost my train of thought again. I don't know if we're talking anything remotely close to what this video began talking about when I started the video, but I think I was comparing this scooter to the newest version of that same one. Same name, but just now versus when they first came out, right? So, okay, I'll post it on everything, and just want to say, this is my favorite scooter. And like I said, like Cameron was saying, he would like to see better quality of the parts, but you know what? If the parts don't cost a lot, right? If they're low cost and they're not breaking on me, I'm happy, right? I understand, we want everything to be super like perfect in the finish and everything, and the way that the parts are made, we want them to be strong. And I did read somewhere, and I didn't confirm this, but I read that these were breaking when the scooters first came out. I don't know which model it was, but there was something down here breaking, and then the company made the part in a stronger metal, or a stronger process where those stop breaking. See, they're taking care of stuff. When I see that, I say, yes, I'll get one. Because when a problem happens and I see it taken care of, I like that. It needs to be taken care of. You have to take care of it, right? You have to. You can't just ignore it or blame the people that are riding the scooter. That does nothing. It's going to keep happening to people, right? People are hard on these scooters. You make a scooter that goes 60 miles an hour, people are going to be jumping it and doing some things on it, that we might think of as dangerous. Well, the scooter itself can be said to be dangerous, right? So it makes sense that people are going to want to do things on it, and if parts break, they need to be reinforced, they need to be strengthened. The scooters need to be made strong. I haven't had any complications with the scooter breaking anything, and I crashed too. I crashed this one. You don't even see it. You don't see anything. I got right back up, and I got on the scooter and rode away, and I crashed this. I was riding in a construction area on the sidewalk. I was staying away from the street because if the street looks like really congested and very busy, I tend to ride on the sidewalk and I'll go slow. Slow, if no one's around, is between 5-8 miles per hour in there. So luckily I was going slow, but the handlebar grabbed the scaffolding. I made an assumption, which is terrible. I learned a lesson quickly. I thought, they'll leave enough room for me to get through with my scooter. There wasn't. There wasn't enough room. And the handlebar on this is extra wide, right? It's 4 inches wider, approximately, than the Segway GT2, right? So I'm thinking of shortening those handlebars. I made a video about that recently. I don't know if I will, but I may. But the handlebar grabbed the scaffolding of the construction area when I was going on the sidewalk, and it turned the scooter, and my scooter crashed into the scaffolding, and I went flying the other way, and I slid on the sidewalk. So I was going fast enough to slide down the sidewalk. So I don't know the exact speed I was going, but like I said, there was no one around. It was late at night, and I was actually doing some testing on the scooter. I was making videos and testing things. I was testing the suspension. If I see a bump somewhere that will make the suspension do what I want it to do, like for a test, I will drive almost any distance to get to that bump and to do my test, and I did it. But there was a small crash in the way, and surprisingly, the whole construction site does not have any phone number on it, so I can't let them know, like, hey, these bars are covering the sidewalk. Can you guys please fix this? Because I looked, I was like, I want to let these guys know that this is dangerous, and I'm sure there's codes for how much room they're supposed to leave on the sidewalk. What if someone has a wheelchair or a mobility scooter? They have to get through there. You can't have them not be able to get through the sidewalk, right? That scaffolding has to leave enough room for people to get through. But I don't know the codes. This is just a guess. I'm just guessing that this is the case. But like I said, with no phone number listed, who do I call, right? So I'll keep looking into that, because I want to mention to them that their scaffolding is not leaving enough space to get through there. They may or may not be aware of that, but at least I can also mention that. Okay, everyone, until next time. Bye, everyone.